I am so incredibly excited to announce a podcast that is coming out. It has been a podcast that I have been meaning to do for such a long time. So I am introducing you to Build Her Strength. This podcast has been something that I have been meaning to do for a very long time. And it's just getting started, which is always the hardest part. There's so much I really want to share my stories. Having guest speakers use their voice and share their stories, ultimately it is to empower women to adopt a fit and healthy lifestyle and helping women build confidence from within. And obviously my expertise is in the health and fitness industry, but I'm excited to have conversations with women that are in different industries as well, and empowering women, especially women who look like me, who come from diverse backgrounds. And it really is more about creating this space where women feel heard and seen, so that this empowers them to go and chase their dreams and their ambitions. I'm so passionate about this podcast because it is a movement to get more women in showing up as their stronger self and finding their inner strength to go after what their heart truly desires. It is about building resilience and strength in the mind, in the body, and rewriting our narratives, cultural, societal narratives, and rewriting them so that we could truly find our inner strength. So the conversation is going to be authentic, it's going to be raw. So I'm so excited. That is the mission behind this podcast, is to empower women to find their inner strength through building that confidence, no matter what field that they are in, adopting a healthier lifestyle through eating well, nourishing the mind, which is really important. And a big part of it is also mental well-being. I would love for you to all join along. Starting off with this podcast, Build Her Strength, I want to start off by giving you a background with who I am, my story, my fitness journey, how I got started, because I think maybe my story can resonate with you, to let you know that you are not the only one. And for anyone that's shared similar experiences that I have growing up in an Asian culture, maybe this is something that you could relate to and empower you that change can happen. I'm so committed to see a change with more diversity, not just in the fitness space, but across all industries, just to really make that global impact. Let's dive into sharing my story. I am a Southeast Asian and my parents are Chinese immigrants. I'm very fortunate to be born in such a privileged, full of opportunity generation in Australia. Growing up, I faced a lot of cultural expectations. I remember when I was really young, probably in my teen years, I was really close with my grandma. She would always ask me, how is school? Every time I saw her, the conversations were just, how is school? She really valued education. She kept asking me, how's school? And she was always reminding me to go to school. And back then, when I was in my teens, I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. School is cool. And now, obviously, the older I am, I realize why my grandma valued education. It's because in her generation, when she was my age, she never received that kind of privilege that I had. That is basically what I've been ingrained in my mind, to really value education. And by this time, fitness wasn't even a thing at all. I did not even know what going to the gym was. I didn't even know what lifting weights was. So it's so different. And I was just doing really well in school. And then when I reached high school and my university years, that is where I started to see the world of fitness. And back then, when I started going to the gym, this was back in 2016, I remember the uni had a gym, and when you start off uni, it's such a big transition. It's so different from high school, because in uni it's just different, because you are forced to make friends, whereas in high school you're all sort of gathered together, whereas in uni you're forced to make friends, make connections. And the university that I went to was really supportive and really wanted to build a community so that everyone felt supported in their journey for university. And I remember then that's when I truly were introduced to the gym. And I did join up, because back then when I entered the gym environment, this was back 10 years ago, the gym was a place to, especially for women, it's like we do cardio. And back then there weren't many fitness influencers, so I just copied what I saw on social media. So I still remember Kayla Itsinas. She's one of the OGs that I followed. I did do her bikini guide, and other influencers such as Emily Sky. I was just the typical cardio bunny, and I didn't really think of fitness or going to the gym as how I do now. Like, all back then it was just lose weight, because in my culture we had that perception that women should be skinny, should be lean, should be petite, and lifting weights was not even a thing at all. So I was just doing the typical cardio stuff. I still remember going to the gym, doing 15 minutes of cardio, and then that was literally my session. And I would go out afterwards to have a big burger. And then I remember saying to the guy that I was seeing at the time, because I've done a 15-minute cardio session, I deserve this meal. That was just my mentality back then, and it's so different now. And over the years, as social media started to really become popular, and that's where Kayla Itsinas, Emily Sky were the two big fitness influencers that I really looked up to. And they started to do HIIT style work, and I did do the BBG. And I still remember doing the BBGs. Emily Sky Fit. Yes, Emily Sky Fit. She was the one. I remember seeing her body and I was like, I just want her athletic body. Like, she wasn't bulky or anything, but she just had such nice muscle tone, and she had abs, and she had like her glutes popping, and she just looked really athletic. And I just loved that look. And I was just following her, and she was doing things like deadlifting and squatting. And that's what I eventually started doing. I started copying Emily Sky. I was doing a combination of HIIT and strength training, and I was just doing what I saw on social media. So I was just doing things. And because when you're young, you're just so naive to all of these things. And back then, nutrition wasn't even a thing. Like, it was just pretty much chasing a lean physique. And at the time, I wasn't aware, but I was certainly overtraining, because I was doing HIIT on top of my training sessions. And I was just under eating because I just wanted to get skinny. I wanted to have my abs popping. So that was basically what I did. And I think, like, to a point where, like, I'm really grateful for having these influences, even though back then, like, I didn't really know much about how to keep fitness as a sustainable lifestyle. But I just remembered that I just loved I did see progress. I did see my physique changing, and that was just what kept me motivated. And I am grateful for that phase, because we all learn from, we all grow through these experiences that we've had, no matter if it's good or bad. So I was just overdoing it, and I wasn't educated. But as I said, I was really grateful, because it really, little did I know then, it really helped me strengthen my mind, because I was going through a low time, because I just felt so much pressure from my family And I was also in a long-term relationship that didn't serve me. So I really found comfort in just going to the gym and just busting a hard ass cardio session and feeling so good. That was really my escape. So I'm really grateful for the gym environment and for these fitness influencers that promote fitness. So then I just kept seeing results, and it gave me so much confidence because I basically really took everything that I learned off online and applied it, and I saw results, and I just felt more confident from within. And this truly allowed me to step out of my comfort zone. So I used to be a super shy girl, but it allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and just be confident from within. I didn't know at the time, but every single time that I was in the gym environment, it was really like a outlet for me to build the relationship that I had with myself. Because prior to the gym, like, I was just this Asian girl that was so shy, that just didn't know what she wanted, and doing all these things as a woman of color, but this pressure of cultural expectations where I should be having it all together by the age of 30. And I just felt like my time was running out. So I just felt this immense pressure in my 20s. And like, being in the long-term relationship didn't serve me at all. So I just really felt that the gym environment was a place for me to really escape the noise that I was in. And it really helped me build my confidence, because it's hard committing to a fitness goal. It is hard for fat loss. It involves so much discipline. And I think at the time I built so much mental strength and mental resilience that it gave me the confidence to step into my power. And it gave me the confidence to leave a 10-year relationship. And I honestly have this lifestyle to thank, because if it wasn't for this lifestyle, I would have never left that relationship. I just, from my upbringing, it's like, if you're in a long-term relationship, then that's pretty much, you're going to marry that guy, no matter if you love him or not. And I just felt I just felt so lost, because I knew deep down, like, I needed to leave this relationship, but I couldn't, because I didn't have the strength to do so. And I just have this lifestyle to thank, just to give me this confidence. And I never take training for granted. It's done so much for me, more than just changing my physique. It's given me that confidence from within and I'm just so grateful for it. So after I left that relationship, I just felt so free, and I just kept pushing. And when you get to that point, when do fitness for a long time, they just want to get to that next level. Or with anything in life, if you just do something and you just keep seeing results and you just want to go to that next level, we all do, we want to keep progressing. That was when I decided to do a fitness competition. So I was just like, look, I'm so disciplined to my routine. I can go to the gym, I'm training, I'm eating well, I'm seeing like my abs popping. I just want to take myself to that next level. So that is when I competed in my first ever bodybuilding competition back in 2018. And oh boy, I was so, like, back in 2018, the information around competing isn't as much as what it is now. Like, times have changed, and every single year, like, there's just so much education to do things better, because we live in a world that's constantly evolving. So I remember that I came into this bodybuilding competition without doing any research, and the coach that I had at the time was just someone that I got referred to, because there wasn't many prep coaches. And I was just clueless, because this coach that I had been in the competing scene for a very long time, and he's really well known in the industry. And when it's your first time, you just listen to whatever the hell they say. So I just did everything he said. It was so rigid, and basically, to do a fitness competition, a bodybuilding competition specifically, it's a sport where you have to get to that level of leanness to show off your muscles on stage. And it is not a healthy lean, because stage lean is not sustainable at all. It is only for that competition day. So it's really pushing your body to your limits. And even though it's pushing your body, it's also pushing your mind to the limits to get to that stage day. It certainly isn't easy. So anyway, I basically listened to everything that he said. He didn't even give me a training plan. I actually did my own thing, but it was just the nutrition side of things, where every single week I had a 10-week prep, and every single week my calories just dropped and dropped to a point that it got to 700. And at the time, I just thought it was meant to be. But it's just so different right now when it comes to competing. I'm not here to deter anyone from it. But with that experience, with a poor prep experience where my calories were so low, and at the time I didn't know that that wasn't healthy. Like, competing isn't healthy, but what I went through was quite extreme, and there are better ways to approach the competing side of things. I'd like to think that I did really well, because I literally gave it my all. I was so proud of my discipline and my commitment to the process, to stage day. And no one really talks about this, but after competition day, post-competition, it is the hardest. It's harder than the prep itself, because the thing is, you don't have a goal to work towards, and you need to come out of that lean physique, because it is not healthy to stay that lean. And the reason why it's hard to come out of a comp, because you're so used to seeing your physique so lean, and then when you see yourself putting on body fat, it can like stuff up with your mind, and you can overthink these things. So with that being said, I suffered a lot from post-comp blues. I put on 15 kilos or more from after competition, because there was no goals set in place, and because you're starving your body for such a long time, and it's just all of a sudden you just want to eat everything. So I suffered severely from competition blues. I was in a lot of binging cycles. I had such poor body image, and I developed all of this over a period of like 6 months, because I gained it so quickly within such a short amount of time after the competition. And it just left me in a really dark place. I remember then I was just so lost. I just hated myself. I just hated what I put myself through. I was on such a high, seeing my body looking so lean and seeing my muscles pop, to gaining it all back, developing poor image, and feeling like I couldn't control my eating behaviors, because I just kept wanting to eat, and I always thought like something was wrong with me, and I was in such a total mess. I couldn't find myself to get out of this hole that I was in. I just couldn't take it anymore. I just remember that I needed to escape, because when I was that lean, I was also scared to see people. And I did have comments of people saying to me, "What's happened? Did you lose yourself?" Because I was so lean, and then all of a sudden I've just put on 15 kilos. And that really triggered me when people would ask me, especially coming from a cultured background. In my culture, in my tradition, I just remembered one day my auntie would come and be like, "Oh, well, you put on a lot of weight in the last 3-4 weeks." And even though I know my auntie didn't mean it in that way, but it still really triggered me. It just made me feel like a failure, because I was so lean and I just put on all these weight. In our culture, when you put on weight, it seems like it's like a bad thing. When you lose weight, it's like, "Oh, well done." It's like a compliment. Make this more aware, and let people unlearn this mindset, unlearn this fat loss mindset. There's other ways to compliment someone if they've lost weight. It's not always about fat loss, but I will get into that in another video. So circling back into my story, I went away and I did a solo trip, and that was honestly the game-changing moment for me, because I was in a free space and I was just so much clearer. It just gave me a space to get clear with the next steps that I had to do to overcome the way I was feeling. Like, I had poor body image. I had a bad relationship with food. It just gave me clarity. And I remember then when I did this solo trip in Thailand, I was like, okay, well, I need to do something about this, the way I feel. The only way I'm going to do it is to get myself educated. I want to get educated in how to overcome, how to eat in a way that's sustainable. Because I was just chasing fat loss, I really wanted to shift this fat loss mindset and chase another goal. And I really wanted to feel strong. I really wanted to feel empowered. So I was like, okay, when I come back, the year of 2019 was the year that I invest in my education, in coaching, in mentorship. And I have been ever since then. And I could not even begin to tell you that that has been the best thing in investing in yourself, because I wouldn't be where I am today with the mindset that I have, not only through experience, but through the guidance and through the coaching from my mentors and my trainers that I've had in the past 3-4 years. So with saying that, I'm genuinely so grateful for that phase with this bodybuilding competition experience that I had, which led me to develop these issues with food and with my body image. Because if it wasn't for that, then I don't think I would have put myself out there to do this solo trip, to gain clarity, to seek coaching. So I truly believe that every bad experience, if you feel like you're going through a rough time, like, it serves a purpose, because it pushes you, it forces you out of that comfort zone to find a way, make it work. And with that being said, I share this because I'm not here to say competing is bad, because I did actually do my second bodybuilding competition at the start of 2023. And it was such a whole different experience. This time I really wanted to prove myself that it didn't have to be the way that it had to be back in 2018 when I first did it. So with that being said, I know that there are women out there that have this mindset of fat loss and chasing this lean physique, and it is not healthy at all. And when you lower your calories so low and you're just constantly in this fat loss mindset, this is where women develop a poor relationship with food and poor body image. So that is what I want to bring to light about that. And this is what I'm so passionate about. And especially as a woman from an Asian background, or if you are from a cultured background, I understand, because I've lived through these experiences, that you'd face so many uncalled for comments. And it's just so much harder, because in our culture, you're meant to be seen as a woman who's petite and not go to the gym. There's just so much stereotype when it comes to going to the gym and lifting weights, because in our generation, they see that as what men do. Like, why is a woman in a gym? For what? Why would you want to lift heavy weights? And it's just really educating them to understand why. So back to my story. And after I got all of my education and learning, I've applied it to my training. I've adopted this way of eating, which is called flexible dieting. I'm so grateful for it, because since then, that's where I really grew to love lifting heavy weights, because it really helped me get out of that mindset of chasing fat loss and chasing a physique. It literally helped me when I first sought out coaching to help me with my form and technique. It was that I wanted to shift it to getting strong in the gym. And then once I got into it, that was when I was looking to want to hit PBs and get those numbers in, performance-based. And now, after 3-4 years of, lifting heavy weights, I've come to appreciate lifting heavy weights and lifting weights in general, besides the physical benefits and also the mental health benefits. It's just that I'm just so grateful for how my body can handle such a heavy weight. I just have so much appreciation for that. And I do it for the empowerment right now. In the past, I used to chase that big number, and if I didn't, I would get so upset about it. But now, with more experience and more maturity when it comes to lifting weights, like, one, I definitely don't want to injure myself. I'm really appreciative of my strong and capable body. If I can push for that weight, then excellent, great, I'll celebrate that. And if not, I'm totally okay with it. I just lift heavy for that empowerment feeling, and it just makes me feel so good. When you feel so empowered, like you just show up confidently in all areas of your life, in your work life, in your personal life, in your relationships. I just feel like I could stand up for myself so much better because I feel confident. So that is basically like my whole story. And I really went against cultural norms, make health and fitness, lifting heavy weights, eating in a way that nourishes my mind. I'm such a big advocate for mindset, and my grandparents valued education and valued doing well at school, finding a partner, settling in. And like right now in my 30s, I am loving life because I truly feel that this is aligned to who I am, because training really changed my life around. It really changed me as a person, and it really turned my life around. It was life changing. Although I have a Bachelor of Science, I really do love all things science-based. I did pursue further education and I wanted to become a physio, but I gave that up. Just felt so aligned to helping other women through adopting this exact same lifestyle of training for empowerment rather than the physical aspect, training for mental well-being rather than the physical changes. This is my story, how I started growing up where fitness isn't a thing back in my culture, me entering the fitness scene to truly feel the benefits, to right now my journey's evolved through education, cardio, HIIT, and then strength training, bodybuilding. And now it's rather than the physical aspect, it's just this empowered feeling. And I really want every single woman to experience this. I share my story because I once was a shy girl that was just so lost in life. I had no direction. I was just not in the best shape. I was in a relationship that wasn't serving me. I was very insecure. I just was a lost soul. It was only fitness and training that really helped me crawl out of my shell. It's been the best for me mentally, and I really want to share this because I know women feel this way, especially if you are a woman, come from a cultured background where your family don't understand you and it's not something that's normal in your culture. I get it, and I want to have this space, and this is why I developed this podcast, to share my story, to share other women on similar paths as I am, to empower you to know that change is going to happen and that this space is for you to feel heard and for you to feel seen and supported throughout your journey. So I'm so excited about this podcast. It is a movement and I can't wait to see your growth. So thank you so much for listening to my story.